Hey everybody, Bob Cruz here, CEO and founder of Checkpoint Technologies. Welcome to another episode of Software Testing Happy Hour hosted by Checkpoint Technologies. And I'm here with one of our senior technicians, Matt Kubal, as always. He and I are co-hosts on this. Hey Matt.
Hello.
And we are joined by the CEO of Inflectra, Adam Sandman. Adam,
Hey.
thank you so much for joining us.
Nice
Another
to be here.
host.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here, Bob.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, some of you may have already watched the episode with Bob Johnson, CEO and founder of Critical Logics. But we're here at InflectraCon 2023, so it made perfect sense to get together with Adam. So many exciting things going on here at the conference and with Inflectra. So Matt and I are going to bombard you with a few questions.
Oh, no.
We'll try to make it painless, but I know you can handle it considering you were Jack Sparrow last night. So you're going to have no problem.
But why is the rum always gone? But we have beer, so we're good. We're good today.
That's right.
No
That's
worries.
right. So Adam, I guess I'm going to start off with Inflectra before we slide into InflectraCon.
Okay.
I want to talk about Inflectra, and I would love. So we are a very, very proud partner of Inflectra, and I would like for you to share everybody about, because this is something I feel like we have in common, is how you believe in a culture of quality and what Inflectra is doing to help other organizations realize that culture of quality.
Well, it's a really good question. And I think quality begins at home. So, I mean, one of the things that I would say I'm very proud of, is that building a company that has strong core values and a strong team. And one of the ways we've done that is to look for people we want to hire and build a team that's going to be around for a long time. I mean, a lot of times we work with other companies and they're almost surprised that we've been around 16 years, which is hard to believe. And we're sort of a family firm, and many people have been there for 16 years, 15, and almost as long as the company's founding. And you meet clients and they're like, can I get a quote from someone? It's the same person. And so they feel like their customer relationship with us is that long too. And so we know them, and when they come to us with a problem, we're not like a person they met for the first time trying to figure out their problems, whether it's our support team or our pre-sales team or customer success. These people have worked with this same client for those many, many years. And so we have this relationship and partnership with our clients. And I think that quality a lot of times is about the people. And if you have a strong team and a strong culture and people who've worked with for many years, that just raises the foundation of quality. Now, you can obviously add tools, processes, and things on top of that. But if you have a team that's churning every year and everyone hates each other and all of that, no tools, no process will make a difference.
True. Absolutely. Those are excellent words of wisdom. And I do want to remind everybody, and I said this on the previous episode, we're here at InflectraCon 2023, and you can hear that this is a really fun conference. There's a class going on next door. Do you know what it's on? I know it's on one of the solutions.
No idea, honestly.
But it's like, they're having so much fun.
They're laughing.
So they're laughing, having a good time. So that's some of the noise that you hear. But So how, in regard to the different solutions, the Spira solutions, Rapise and everything, what do you feel differentiates those solutions
from others on the market?
Yes.
So on the case of Spira, which is the tool that I helped create myself originally back in the day, and I think is the foundation of the company. We added Rapise later. We've tried to, I think, embrace what I would call, if you read these books, the genius of the and, not the tyranny of the or. So the tool lets you be agile and do compliance and traceability. It's easy to use and set up, turn it on, no configuration, and if you need to configure it because your industry needs some special tweaks and configurations, you can. I think that's the differentiator. It's A and B, not A or B. And we try to embrace that philosophy in everything we do in that product, so that it can be used for very small projects and very large projects. It can do scaled agile. It can be used in a very complex defense project with thousands of moving teams, or a small startup can use it. I think it's that genius of the and in Spira that has made it so successful.
I love it. And yesterday in one of the sessions that we had, I loved how you talked about how the solutions, because we all know compliance, regulations, things like that, they can slow a project down.
Right.
But we want to be agile, we want to be fast.
Right.
The Inflectra solutions help bridge that gap.
Yeah, bridging agile and compliance, that's one of the key messages, absolutely. And on the automation side, Rapise, The genesis of that product was really having an automation tool that allows a team to test so many different technologies with one platform. Because otherwise, you can have a tool that can do web, can do mobile, can do desktop, can do APIs, but then a lot of these modern apps are neither. They're a hybrid. So you may have this desktop app that's wrapping so it's not too technical, wrapping a Chromium embedded browser that has other components in it. And that's like, how do you test that? So Rapise can bridge those different technologies so one team can test a complex tool. The second thing I think that differentiates Rapise is embracing, again, the and, which is you have automation engineers who are really good at automating. We have functional users that know the application being tested. And so usually you have this decision. Do we have the functional testers do the automation, then it's brittle, or do we have the automation engineers do it, in which case it's reliable, but maybe misses out use cases because they don't know the application. So Rapise is the and. You have the functional users do what they can do best, and the engineers do what they can do best. And now you have a script that covers all the key use cases and is reliable and not brittle.
Oh, fantastic.
I have a question that might end up on the cutting room floor. We'll see.
Oh, no.
Have you guys ever considered making a performance tool?
A long time ago, actually, we did. So, actually, the story of Rapise is interesting. Rapise originally was made by the engine that's behind Rapise, and that's many versions ago, actually came from another company that went out of business, and we acquired the intellectual property, and then hired the team, and then took it in a better direction. That other company did have a performance testing tool. So when we did that IP acquisition, we actually thought about, should we actually do a performance testing tool? And what we found is that, going back to some of the values and the way we approach customers, we have a relatively light touch sales process. We want to make it easy and turnkey. The problem we found with performance testing is, even more than functional testing that is, to do it really well, you have to know how to do performance testing. Otherwise, you end up just performance testing your network connection and not what you're actually supposed to be testing. And it felt like it was more specialized than we felt it would fit into our portfolio. So we made a decision that we'd integrate with several different world-class performance testing tools, both from competitors and open source like JMeter, things like Octoperf, and better to do that than try and build it. Same thing with security testing. We felt that's another area that's incredibly specialized, and people do that really well. We don't want to be like a camel trying to do everything. So we felt like that what we have is really what we're good at, and we're now building into more of the scaled agile risk management side rather than going deeper onto the performance side.
Makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. So share with us about the how InflectraCon came to be.
So InflectraCon came to be from actually interesting. Like everywhere in life, there's always the difference between things that happen that you plan and things that are just serendipitous, things that just happen to you. And so it was a combination of the two in this case. So we had a very large client, assurance client in the town of Cincinnati. You can put that together. And they needed a lot of training being done. They had I think 40 to 100 people needed training. And we'd always wanted to do a user conference because we knew there was a great benefit in bringing partners, customers, and users together. The problem was, how do you build scale, especially if no one's heard of this conference, this is brand new. And so what happened is we used them as the test bed and the launch bed. So we did it at a place nearby, and they guaranteed us a certain number of attendees. We then opened it up to other people who came. And that really helped us launch InflectraCon. But it was always, and still is, the idea that we have partners who have great solutions to integrate with us. We have customers who use the solutions that we have and can potentially use our partners' services or complementary tools. And then we have the tech community that doesn't necessarily know any of us, but wants to know about us and wants to learn. And so those three legs of the stool is what made InflectraCon different. It's not trying to be just a user conference, but we're not trying to take on the DevOps agile testing conferences as a standalone thing, because other people do that too. And then customers, again, they also need help. So the idea was having something that could bridge those three legs was important. And we've always, but somebody's trying to figure out what's the best way of doing it. And so, we're still, I think, iterating. But this event's been really good. It's been great to have you here and be part of our ecosystem and partnership. And I think, we try and build on those strengths.
Yeah, and Matt, I want you to be honest and tell me if you agree with me. One of the things that I found last year, and it's true this year, is that, all of the sessions are not focused or about the Inflectra solutions. A lot of them are tool agnostic.
Yeah.
So I say that to those of you out there who might be diehard into Selenium and you're not changing. I tell you what, you can still attend this conference and learn, just get some great information.
Yeah, I think, I don't think I attended any sessions that were specifically about Inflectra tools. It was a lot of integrations, like using this tool with Rapise,
right,
or with now I can't think of the word.
And that was by design because the two main we had a partner day on Wednesday, and then the two main conference days, the three main tracks in the main rooms, those are all tool agnostic for the most part, and then we have the small rooms where our partners can present solutions that are not to make tool agnostic, but they may be complementary.
Yeah.
And so the idea was to try and have that distinguished, so people knew what they were coming in for and what they were getting.
Yeah, this morning there was an excellent session that I went to, and it was about building a value proposition. So in other words, think of your testing group, and you want to explain to executive leadership the value of what you're doing. It was all about that, which was incredible. And then during the lightning talks, which I loved, they allowed attendees to get up and speak for 5 minutes on something specific. And someone got up and talked about chaos testing, which was great. Somebody else got up comparing the Ironman decathlon to testing, and the fact you have to be ready for everything.
Right. And managing the risks of the different pieces, and yeah.
So Matt, we're running out of time here. Any?
Yeah, I have a third rail question here. Another one
third rail
might end up on the cutting room floor. We'll see. So everybody's talking AI now,
right?
And a lot of it just seems like they're doing the same thing they were doing 15 years ago, only they slapped the word AI on it, and then claim that they've been doing AI for 15 years when it's really just the deterministic algorithm they've got that's doing whatever, and it's the exact same thing. How do you see any of those tools realistically affecting testing, say in 5 years?
Well, it depends what you mean by which tools, because a lot of people are focusing on AI automation tools.
Sure.
And that's the stuff I think where you're saying it's basically what we did already, which is adaptive learning or self-healing tests and all that stuff.
Sure.
I think that's not the AI we're going to come across. I think where the AI is going to be much more interesting is actually more on the front end, in the requirement side, and some of the testing and building stuff for you. I mean, we've been doing some interesting experiments using just ChatGPT, which of course is the name du jour. Everyone's using it. But we asked it to describe Rapise for us, and it wrote out a mind map that contained every single feature we had. And so for documentation, oh my God, that's perfect. Writing a user manual. So I think we're going to find AI is going to be used for things that maybe aren't the things we think they're going to be used for.
Sure.
Not necessarily what. So I think AI is going to change testing, or maybe just the analytics. Imagine we let an AI engine look at all the data we have in Spira and figure out where the failures are from data that's not obviously correlated, but it can correlate it.
Right.
That may be where we get more of the, and we don't have that right now. That may be more where the future is than like automation stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like people think it's going to just take over and do the testing for you, and I think there's so much data that those models need to actually do those sorts of things that I don't see how that's going to.
And there's AI poisoning, which is a whole other thing.
Sure.
And that's where you distort the data set to make it have invalid outcomes.
Interesting.
Yesterday during a session that Adam and I were in, Adam hosted it, but we were all talking about ChatGPT. Somebody made the point that it's so important to ask the right questions.
Yes.
I immediately thought of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and what is the meaning of life? 42. So, then it comes down to, will we understand the answer? Well, it's all about asking the right question, but even then.
Yeah.
And then I posed the question, ask ChatGPT, what is the risk of using ChatGPT? And it spit out an answer. So it was, it's interesting.
It looked like a lawyer.
That's right. It sounded like a lawyer.
It did, if you read it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I thought it sounded more like a politician.
Well, anyway. A government lawyer. No, anyway, that might be cut from the final one.
There you go. Well, everyone, we try to keep these at 15 minutes or less. We might, I don't know if we're over or not, but this has been so much fun, Adam.
Thank you.
A lot of fun. Thank you, sir.
Thank
and
you.
Matt, as always, thank you, bud. Everyone, have a great day. Hope you join us. And remember, if you haven't already watched it, check out the other one we did at InflectraCon 2023 with Bob Johnson. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.